What's up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, druids and mages, neck bros and werebears? Greetings. About to be playing some last Epoch. Today I am actually going to be farming my blessings, get them all locked in exactly how I want. Still playing my Hydrahedron Rune Master. Super strong build. Managed to climb up to what I think it was like 370 corruption with, like slightly above average gear, but not anything crazy. So highly recommend the build. Yeah, so right now I'm in Blood, Frost, and Death. I'm trying to farm, I think, higher drop rate for two-handed staffs in this timeline. So let's go get it. And I'll just be pushing corruption in every timeline as I roll through this. Hope you all had a beautiful Valentine's Day. Mine was delightful. Went to yoga after work. Did an hour of yoga, then hopped in the sauna. Oh yeah, for 25 minutes. Directly after into a cold shower. And then I was just like so relaxed and melty. Got home, ate some food, and now we're here. Good day at work prior to that. Got a sweet lady I sent whispered sweet nothings to via text. Wasn't able to get together today, but it was a nice sweet exchange. Valentine's Day. So yeah, if you don't know about this build, the Hydrahedron Rune Master, it's all about runic invocation, and these little icons above you are the runes. So anytime you cast a spell that's lightning, you get a lightning rune. You cast a spell that's fire, you get a fire rune. To cast this little Hydrahedron, you actually have to cast lightning and then fire. And the way that I have the build set up, whoa, don't die while I'm talking, is after you use Flame Rush, it auto casts runic invocation. So you cast one lightning, and then you channel Fire Rush into two fires, and it drops this Hydra that then decimates everything. There's a build on Max Roll GG that this is based off of, and while I did vary and alter the build to my playstyle, that's definitely a great place to start if you're looking to play a build like this. The thing that makes it so overpowered, honestly, though, is Frost Wall converted to fire. Every time you go through it, it triggers Flame Ward, and you just generate a ton of ward and damage reduction because of that. So that's kind of the mechanics of this build. At this, what am I at? I'm at 300 corruption. I don't even need to cast Flame Wall all the time, or Frost Wall, as it were. And I still generate a pretty significant amount of ward. And that's just the power of Rune Master right now. So much ward. I don't even have capped resistances. I don't have capped fire anyway. I think I'm pretty close to all of them. Let's check it out after this. But you can see this is 300 corruption. And, I'm talking and just kind of blasting through it. So pretty powerful. Yeah, fire, poison, and necrotic are not capped. Everything else is capped. So still looking pretty strong, and as I was climbing through corruption and leveling, my resistances were abysmal. It's only via the passive tree, and because I'm level 98 now, and I guess blessings that I've even been able to work on that a bit more. So it felt strong even before they were at the state where they currently are, which is most of them capped. So highly recommend the build. Really fun. Really strong. I think that I will play it. Out of all the builds I've played, which are only 3 at this point, started the game beginning of the month. Absolutely love it. I come up from a Path of Exile background. but honestly I hadn't played a lot of the seasons in the last couple years. Came back to Path of Exile, played the most recent season, and enjoyed it. But did not play for an extended period of time. And with Path of Exile, like, I don't even like leveling multiple tunes. I think that it takes too long. And so if I'm gonna play one tune in a season, you know, and dedicate a lot of time to that, I kind of want something that works well. So I find myself just like following a build guide to a T, because I feel like that's like the mandatory thing to do. And you know, you could get a doctorate in Path of Exile, and actually just, it's not something I have the time to do. I love and appreciate the complexity of the game, and I think it is an amazing game. But Last Epoch is really perfect for me. I love this game a lot. I'm super excited about launch, and I'm excited that I can just go in and explore on my own and create some builds, which I did for my first 2 tunes before I decided to model this one after a max GG build and just play something as OP as possible to see what a, you know, really well crafted build looks like. But even on the other tunes, it was really easy to you know, push 200 corruption. So I'm excited to explore and create my own builds in this game. I'm really excited for launch, excited for the economy and the trading system. I love that. So yeah, pretty stoked. It was enough that it inspired me to start streaming. So like, I'm a new streamer. Been streaming just a little bit, multiple days in a row now. And mainly for very few people, but I just love it anyway. I love the narration. And you know, I'm gonna cut this, put it on YouTube, see if people wanna come hang out after they hear the commentary. So yeah, I enjoy making content. I enjoy interacting with people. I love it when the people in my chat I can live interact with, and kind of share my game knowledge and just share the lulls and the enjoyment of the game. Easy peasy. Alright, what do we got here? So we're about 2/3 of the way. Yeah, 2/3. To fighting our next boss, and hopefully we can get the blessing we're looking for that time. Then I can bounce on to the next timeline and get the blessing that I want there. Last time I played, I found 2 upgrades, which was miraculous. I'm not anticipating I'll find a lot of... I mean, I would be stoked if I found an upgrade to my gear right now. But I feel like I'm at a place where I need to find, like... I need to find a good rolled... So, I'll show you something real quick. This item is really enabling for the build. It's pretty clutch to have this. And it has huge variance in the rolls. So, like, I've gotten several of them that if you look down there, increased Hydrahedron area, I've gotten several that were like under 20%, you know, and I've gotten several that are +1 to runic invocation, which is just like an automatic brick. Well, I'd love to get a legendary potential box of Hydra with some good rolls on it. That would make my day. But it doesn't seem like those come around too often, so we'll see. Maybe we'll get lucky. I have increased relic drop rate blessing on one of my timelines, so that's going to help kind of target farm that. That's the upgrade I'm really looking for sure. It would be cool to just drop any, you know, 3 legendary potential uniques that I can use for a different type of build. I'd be excited about that. 3 legendary potential, or I'm assuming there's a 4 legendary potential drop, like some that's possible in this game. I haven't seen it yet. That would blow my mind. Any unique that had 4 legendary potential would blow my mind. For those of you who may not know what legendary potential is, so essentially any unique item can drop with something called legendary potential. It can be 1 through 4, I believe. It's increasing or decreasing, you know, rate of drop the higher the legendary potential. And essentially, you take these purple items, which is they're called exalted items, and for each amount of legendary potential. Okay, I can talk words. So, for example, if I had 1 legendary potential, I would mash this exalted item that has 4 stats. Well, this one has a sealed stat. So just the 4 stats, and it would randomly select one of those stats and put it on that unique item, creating dun, 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 a legendary item. So, for example, this fundamental Criterion armor was a unique that dropped with 1 legendary potential. I mashed it with an exalted item, and out of one of the 4 stats on that item came over to here, and it happened to be 17% increased health. Wow, that was not the stat I was going for. It still made this significantly better item. I would love to have love to have one of these with a +3 to runic invocation and legendary potential. That would be a great upgrade. Again, here's another example. This dropped with 1 legendary potential. It gives +3 to runic invocation, and that's the max roll for it. And when I created my legendary item, the stat I was looking to transfer over, the tier 7 fire damage, transferred over to this one first try. So it was a 25% chance. You know, you got 4 stats, only one of them is going to go over. So that was pretty massive for me. But finding something like this that had 2 legendary, 3 legendary potential would be amazing. Yeah, it's really fun. And to do that, you just run the dungeon. It's called, what is it called? It's Temple of Sanctum, something. So you get these keys, and it's a Temporal Sanctum is the name of the dungeon. You right-click on this key, excuse me, it'll bring you to the map where you enter that dungeon. Run the dungeon, put your unique and your exalted in the little triangle at the end, mash them together, and cross your fingers. So that's how that's done. Just figured I'd give you a little explanation in case you had no idea what I was talking about for what I'm hoping drops. Yeah, I want that box of Hydra with 2 legendary potential, 4 legendary potential. I don't know, shoot for the moon, right? I haven't seen one that dropped with 1 legendary potential yet, so I think that it might be pretty rare. Like, I bet you 2 legendary potential on that particular item is super rare. And then on top of it, it needs to roll good stats. Like, some items, they don't have a huge variance in like the rolls and the stats. That item has a lot of variance. So I've seen quite a few of them drop that are just crappy in general, that I wouldn't even use if it had 1 legendary potential. So everything's gotta be in alignment with that one. I am getting some lag, so hopefully the recording's all good. I wonder if you can see the lag in my recording. Probably upload this to YouTube, just so people can see some gameplay of this type of build. You know, maybe learn a thing or two. It's casual, unedited, exactly what it is. So yeah, 300 corruption. My damage is starting to fall off a little bit, not gonna lie. 300 corruption. But the experience is good. The drop rate is good. Still on that grind to level 100. Halfway to level 99. And it feels long. Those last 3 levels feel very long. Like, it goes up exponentially. Yeah. The amount of experience required to level goes up exponentially. So I'm a little bit scared what 99 to 100 is going to look like, but I'm in it. The goal is to get 1 level 100 character pre-launch. That's the goal. And this is going to be the build I'm doing it with. Curious what everyone's going to be running during the first cycle release, so if you want to let me know what your strategy is, that would be super cool. I think I am going to run Rune Master. There's been some whispers that it might get nerfed. I've heard some things about them bringing up, instead of nerfing Rune Master, buffing everything else up to its level, so that'd be cool. But even if it got a couple slight nerfs, they seem like they have a gentle hand and know what they're doing in terms of game balance. I would probably still play this build on launch, even with a nerf, just because it's the one I am most familiar with, and I'm familiar with all the synergies. I know how to deviate, you know, based upon what type of gear I have, all that good stuff. And I want to start the cycle, the season, with a build I can just mash with. Just blast through everything super fast, get a lot of currency. Whoop, there we go. And then I can use that currency to fuel my exploratory builds, you know, and just have fun with it. But I want to build that just blast right out the gate. Oh, 300 corruption. A little bit of lag. I don't think that one was lag, but it's feeling a little bit muddy with my movement. That guy took me out. That guy took me out. Get right back in it. No worries. Yeah, I feel like 300 corruption or just slightly lower might be the sweet spot as far as like experience per hour optimization for my, you know, character with its current gear. 300 might be slightly high because these guys are starting to feel a bit tanky with my damage. And occasionally I'll get one shot, so yeah. Who knows, so it's hard to tell. It'd be cool to get maybe they already do have a way of figuring out what your XP per hour is. But honestly, I'm just having fun. And I'm still optimizing this build just with the blessings I'm trying to farm. I just got my void resistance blessing, which was huge. I think it was at like 33% prior to getting it. Now I got an extra 64% just from a blessing like that. For those of you that don't know what blessings are, in the endgame, there's a system, Monolith of Fate, and in the Monolith of Fate, there's a bunch of different timelines. Within those timelines are individual maps that are referred to as echoes. When you beat enough echoes, you build up a gauge, and you can fight the timeline boss. Upon defeating the timeline boss, you get to select from a handful of different blessings that that particular timeline can roll. And you can get one for each timeline, and you can get the grand version of it once you get unlock the more difficult timelines. I forget their exact name. I'll look at it next time I'm in the map. But there's like a normal version of the timeline that, you know, has a certain level cap on it. And then after you defeat all the three specific timelines, you can unlock their stronger version, where every single timeline then becomes a level 100 area. And then you can increasingly scale that difficulty via corruption, which is another mechanism in the game. And by the end of this little stream, the last thing I'll probably do is actually go and kill the Shade, which isn't the timeline boss, but it's a boss that appears in every timeline towards the edges of the timeline that you can kill, that'll increase the corruption of that timeline, and hence increasing the difficulty, the experience gain, and the drops you receive in that timeline. I'll show you what I'm talking about towards the end of the stream if you're going to stay and kick it with me. Why is this capitalized? I mean, it's pretty good, but I probably need to change that. So I love loot filters. This shouldn't pop up. There's no reason I'm picking that up. Need to change it to only show me exalts at this point. Even when it comes to, like, you know, inventory management, I'm basically auto-selling anything that's a tier 6 exalt, unless it's really specific to my build. So this is tier 7 increased spell critical strike chance. That's something I want to keep around, so that I can mash it into something with legendary potential, or just use it, craft on it for a different build. Yeah, so this is legendary potential, that is legendary potential, this is tier 6, goodbye. Got something I could shatter here. Gonna try and get hybrid health. +1 hybrid health, cool. And then I just go drop in my idols. Oh, don't like that. My idle page is getting full. Look at these idle pages. Before I was good at sorting, I was just keeping a lot more than I really needed. And I still probably am. But so it goes. I'll buy a new idle stash tab. Another great thing about this game, buy stash tabs with in-game gold. Very, very cool. Alright. Couple more echoes and we'll be able to fight the boss. As you can see here on the top, once this third little area gets unlocked, that's when I'm able to go and fight the boss. So I think it's going to be after the next one, not this one, but the next echo. After I defeat that, then I'll be able to go fight the boss. And you can come with me, see how it goes down. After fighting that boss, I'll try and find a shade so we can fight the other boss you encounter in timelines, every timeline, that allows you to scale the corruption and difficulty of the timeline. And you can see what that's all about. This is an arena map, so it's a small map that just has spawn points of enemies that then come and meet you. Don't have to go far, just gotta go back and forth, really. Yeah, I'd love to fix my fire res. And the other thing about this build that took me a while to actually fix was having enough mana. So you want to have 300 plus mana so that the idols that you get can be these bad boys that have 36 increased fire damage, doubled if you have over 300 max mana. So you want a lot of mana. The other thing is, even with 300 mana, I still have mana issues in terms of regen. And when you run out of mana, wow, I don't think I've ever seen that. Detonating arrow. So when you run out of mana and you can't cast your flame wall to go through and get your flame ward automatically cast, that's when you start becoming vulnerable and dying. So if I run out of mana, it's a bad situation, and it still happens if I'm not managing my mana well. So that's the other thing I would fix with this build if I had super great gear. Yeah. So if I beat this one, it looks like we'll be able to unlock the boss fight. It looks like. There's a varying amount of stability, which is the resource you get that fills this bar. I get between plus 40 and plus 122. So we can get a different amount. And we'll see if this one fills it up. If not, we'll have to do one more before we fight the boss. If you're watching the video on YouTube and you're enjoying it, I'd love for you to come see me stream on Twitch. I love interacting live with people in chat. I love answering questions about the game, sharing knowledge, learning from the people who also know way more than I do about this game. If you're one of those encyclopedia brain people, come kick it in chat. Help me become better at the game. I love that too. Share knowledge. Have fun. Brand new streamer. So yeah, trying to build a little audience, seeing if I can get some people hanging out, people to game with. I'd really enjoy that. I love gaming, and that would be the dream, to be able to stream for people and interact with people while gaming. It would be fantastic. I'm also looking for people who want to be involved in some team play, you know, and who actually would want to be on the stream, you know, chat live in Discord, duo up and try and smash some gameplay together. So if you're one of those people, reach out. My Twitch is Cyclone9. I'll put a link to it in the description of the video. Cyclone and then the number 9. Alright, did not make it there. We gotta clear one more echo. I'm gonna go for experience. That little book there means I'll get experience tombs for beating this echo, which the goal is level 100 before I switch builds. Try something else out. So those tombs are actually pretty meaningful. They're substantial even at this high level. I think they're percentage based, so yeah, they just stay good. In fact, they increase in value as you level higher because the total number of experience required goes up exponentially, and if that's percentage based, they're actually more valuable the higher levels you are. I'm not 100% sure they are experience based, but you can actually see the experience bar move when you collect them. Check it out. Whoa, lag. Oh my goodness. Please don't die. Oh. This guy's fire too. Alright, so yeah, let's look at my experience bar down here. I get 3 tombs when I open this. Let's see how much it moves. Boop, boop. Boop. Pretty substantial. May look like a little, but at this stage in the game, significant. Significant. Alright, I unlocked the boss. So, usually if it's your first time through the timeline, you have to go do these other 2 quests. Now that I've been through the timeline, I can go straight to the boss. Bam! Here we go, baby. 300 corruption boss. I think I'm just going to smash him. That's the goal. That's the plan. See what happens. Yeah, with this amount of ward generation, I don't know this boss that well. There are some timelines I've farmed a ton. Woo! And know the boss mechanics. I'm not sure if this one has any one-shot mechanisms, but I haven't really seen it so far. Pretty tame, honestly. I think that's got to be the one. You know, if you get stuck in that for some reason, maybe it freezes you. I don't know. Seems pretty easy to avoid. The one thing that it can be sketchy about this build is I'm actually using my movement skill as part of my damage rotation. So like if I do it wrong, it does leave me a little bit vulnerable because I don't have a movement skill that I'm using solely for evading hits. I have one of these, but that's actually one of the more rare set items as far as like the ones I've found anyway. So I'll pick it up, see if it's a better roll. Alright, looking for two-handed staff drop rate. Two-handed spear. Did not get it. Lame. So I'm going to stick with my 89% increased wand for now. Cool. We'll get it next time. Alright. So yeah, the legendary timelines is what they're called, the difficult ones. Let's go legendary. Now, the goal now is to find a shade battle, which, as I mentioned, they tend to be on the edge of the timeline. So I'm going to head over this direction. I'm going to get this echo, which actually shows me further into the darkness. So I can actually see after I get that echo that maybe there'll be a shade battle. close by that I can go to. If not, we'll keep heading out towards the edge of the timeline. Find that shade battle and increase the corruption further. At that point, I will probably end the stream and go to sleep. Make some tea, yeah, I'm gonna make some sleepy time tea. What do we have here? A set item I've seen a bazillion times. They gotta do something about set items and make them more valuable. You can't roll legendary potential on a set item, so I just don't feel like they compete with really good uniques that can be turned into legendary items. I haven't experimented with a ton of builds, so maybe there are some builds that are really based around, excuse me, hiccups, set items and using set items, but I haven't seen it yet. I really haven't. And none of them look that appealing to me to create a build around as of yet. I've seen a lot of uniques that I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I totally want to see if I can just use that for a build and it be the centerpiece of a build, right? So they actually are talking about set items in the last developer stream and where they want to go with them in the future, and it sounds promising that they are going to make them more relevant and different. Alright, I'm blasting. Just go. Don't think, don't talk. What is this? This is the one that restores echoes to their original states. Okay. Don't really need that. Like if I was target farming something and I found an echo that had a, you know, unique staff or exalted two-handed staffs or something like that, I could reset that node and then go back and farm it again, which is cool. So that it can be very useful, but it's not really what I'm doing right now, so kind of irrelevant. I didn't see any juicy nodes that I want to repeat farm. This little capsule here, if you're new to the game, spawns an exiled mage, which can drop items that have an experimental affix or stat. They also often drop unique runes, so this is one of the runes that allows you to seal an experimental affix in your crafting table. Could do a whole video on crafting. There's some that are out there that exist. But that is a pretty good thing. So if you find an item with a really good high tier experimental affix, you can use one of those runes and seal it, meaning you put it down in the corner and it can't be altered anymore, but it opens up the spot to craft a brand new affix in its place. So essentially, instead of having a 4 stat item, you get a 5 stat item. So damn good. Hi, Galaxy Brain Crafting. Actually, it's pretty easy. The crafting system is amazing, super effective, really rewarding, and there are still times when you can brick an item for sure. Like, I've done it often. But you have some safety, and you have some guarantees as well that can just increase the value of an item for your specific build. I love the crafting system. It's not like Path of Exile where like it's almost unapproachable because of how insane it is. God, Path of Exile. It's a massive game, so if you want to get a doctorate in a game, that would be the game to do it. Alright, I don't see a... Oh, I do. There's a shade battle right here. Okay, let's head down that way. trying to get there quick. Trying to showcase this battle for you guys and then head out for the night. One thing that I realized, which is really cool, and I actually didn't do it intentionally, is I pushed corruption in one timeline really hard and didn't mess with the others. I was like, okay, it's going to take me a long time to level the corruption in every timeline now to get up to the same level where I was at in this other one. And it massively increases how fast your corruption goes up based upon the timeline you've pushed corruption in the most. So, in the timeline I pushed it all the way up to almost 400 corruption. Well, I swear to God, I didn't even look at how much corruption I was going to gain when I fought my last Shade battle. I'm pretty sure it brought me up from like 100 and something to 300 in one battle. Whereas usually it's going up by like 20, 30, you know, not a lot. So it was massive. It pushed this timeline up to 300 corruption like at a blink of an eye, and I was like, wow. That was surprising to me. I thought it was going to be a grind to get back up to the same level of difficulty. But no, they put in a mechanism that allows your other timelines to catch up to whatever timeline you've pushed the furthest in terms of corruption. Pretty cool. We'll see how much it gives me this time when I get over to that node and we dismantle him like we was born to do. Fish gotta swim. Last Epoch player gotta blast bosses like it ain't no thing. Yeah, so plus 19. Yeah, I think that's the amount that it's going up based upon. So it jumped massively in the last round, but now that I'm all the way up to 300 corruption, it's much closer to catching up to my furthest pushed one, my highest corruption timeline. And it's still giving me like a 19 corruption bonus that doesn't exist if it's like, you know, if you're pushing the timeline that you're already the furthest in. Sometimes I wonder if I'm like even talking coherently. It's a new streamer thing, or maybe that's like just a streamer thing in general. So yeah, if people come out and hang out, man, the next goal for me is to get a decent microphone. I already have some headphones, so I can play music on stream and improve the audio in general, quality of my voice. Play music, listen to it through my headphones, play it for the stream. That's the next step for me. Then maybe I'll make some channel art, something like that. Yeah, I got a, my goal is 50 followers. I think I'm at 10 or something like that currently. So yeah, I'll put that as a stream element so people can see, help me with my goal. But yeah, mainly I've been casting to a handful of people currently, and the goal is to cut out some of the live stream and put it up on YouTube and see if people enjoy the content there, and try and always lead with information and value in terms of tips and tricks and anything that can help you improve your gameplay. So we finally made it. We're here at the edge of the timeline where we can fight the Shade. This is going to increase our corruption by what, 28, 32. Every time you beat the timeline boss, you collect something called a Gaze of Orobis, and you can stack these if you want. So I could get 2, 3, have killed the boss multiple times without fighting a Shade. Now, it gives you an additional corruption bonus for the eye, for the Gaze of Orobis that you see down there, plus 9 corruption. So that's pretty cool. That's another way to scale corruption quickly. So let's go fight this. Hopefully we get a win. No lag spikes. Cross my fingers. And that'll be pretty much the end of the stream. Touched on a lot of topics. Hope you enjoyed. If you have questions, come hang out. I love chatting. I love answering questions from chat and interacting with chat. So come chill. Ooh, that's a lot of void damage everywhere. Red balls. Ah! Red bloody balls. That just, it's not a sentence you want to say very often. Oh my goodness. Alright, easy mode. Yeah. Easy. Ah! Easy mode. Watch me get one shot in the last 5 seconds. Don't hit me with those. I don't like them. Boom. And that's that. What did we get? Boots I've already seen. A key. And a higher level difficulty in this timeline. Alright, boys and girls. Ladies and gentlemen. Druids and Necros. Mages and Paladins. I enjoyed playing. Creating this content for you. I hope I see you again. Have a lovely night. Have a lovely day. Have a lovely whatever time and hour it is in your corner of this world. Bye bye.